Hey, I'm back.
Great. Hi.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know either, but there is something a little strange here because I'm sharing my desktop and do you see the inception?
I did for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
No.
Oh,
No.
there, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know
I don't
what
know
that.
why it thinks that that's okay to do.
Yeah. Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah. Um,
Maybe it's
so
just
I was,
snapping. Okay.
yeah. So the screen looks good. What was I trying to tell you? And then we got cut off, and I thought you left me, but then it was me that left. Um, I don't remember. We were doing this build. Oh, I was talking about PG Tap.
Yeah.
Um, I can't remember if this installs it by itself. If you kind of go over and go into database scripts, we can look at where the PG Tap stuff is.
Okay.
So if you open up the database scripts project,
Here.
yeah, and then go into source, and then pick one of the config DBs, fine. And then there's unit tests, and then there's the PG Tap stuff, and I think this may install it itself. Um, yeah, I think that it
Yeah.
installs all the stuff that it needs to itself. Um, and so we may not need to install any of the PG Tap stuff. If not, that link that goes to PG Tap will
Yep.
tells us how to install the stuff that it needs on.
Yeah.
And I was gonna go over and I was gonna look at um, to see if I'm sure I have a document on database unit testing. Um,
On the Confluence.
I thought I wrote something up on that. If it's not in, um, just
Maybe on your videos.
no, I haven't gone through that yet. On well, I do have a page on which I wrote in March last year, and it's called PG Unit Testing. So it says the PG Tap framework. Oh, let me just send this to you, and you don't need
Okay.
to hear me talk. Um, okay, where am I? Ta-ta. So there's the page. Let me just go back and look at it. So
Yeah.
you must install the Postgres EDB language pack. Use Stack Builder app from Postgres to install this add-on. So in that thing, when you install Postgres, you also do this other thing to install this language pack. And it, and so it's make install, check. Then once, and then I think you do have to create extension PG tap. Yeah, you got to do this other stuff. This has to be done inside of Postgres. So to use PG prove, you need to do that parse handler, and so you do and PG tap has a document that covers this. And then you don't need to do this Bamboo one, but then that allows PG prove to be run on these things, and that's all done from the command line in the Gradle tasks. And so that's kind of what we use. So there's a little bit to set up your database to use PG tap, but once you set that up, and it's pretty straightforward, then you should be able to use those targets for building new databases or running the unit tests. I guess that's the only one that's really required here. And I think everything else for doing database diffs and everything else is handled within the targets themselves. So, Postgres should install fairly well. We use
9.1.4?
No. I thought, no, it's not 9.1.4. It's, you could actually look in our Gradle build. I think it'll tell you that, SQL.
I thought I would find something like a config file which says the DB version.
I think we're at 9.4, one of the 9.4s. I don't think we're at 9.5. We used to be at 9.1, or 9.1 or 9.2, and then I think we were at 9.2 for a long time. Just recently went up to 9.4, and then haven't upgraded to 9.5 yet.
Okay.
But you could probably go ahead and get 9.5 if you wanted, because really all you're doing is.
Is it stable?
9.5's been out for a while, so I think it is.
Yeah. Okay.
And so should be able to do that.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
I don't know why this is. Do you have long date? Long data? I thought.
That brings up a questions. Do I need any virtual machine? Do you suggest?
Yes. So this VirtualBox runs on your Linux box, right?
Yeah. But well, last time I tried to.
Oh.
I broke, but no problem.
So, did you figure out why?
Actually I did not, but we have we have an IT department, so they know.
So I would recommend, even before you install Postgres or whatever, obviously doing whatever, because you can back up the Linux, right, or take a snapshot of it, and so that if it blows up, you can get back to where you were, right?
Yeah, that would be a great idea. Thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah, so I think especially like before Postgres or whatever, go ahead and take a snapshot, get Postgres up and running, take another snapshot, try to do VirtualBox. So for using our Vagrant that I showed you before, I did a video on, and might have showed you that too. You'll want to, I know it works with VirtualBox, so, and the first time you run it, I think it will take a while to download the CentOS image, because it pulls it from Artifactory, pulls it down.
Okay.
It was bizarre. So, yeah, I would try to get VirtualBox up and running, and Postgres with that that PG tap stuff installed, and it looks to me. And finish doing this build. You might have to kill it tonight because I know it's getting later for you. In fact, we we could kill it and try just doing one of the other builds by themselves, but I'm guessing that that top level one is trying to download something. Let me try to do a build here. Mine won't download that stuff unless I clear out the Gradle caches. It's already got everything. Let me just go over and see what Artifactory, and maybe while we're waiting, I'll see if I can share my. I'm going to share my screen.
So no other virtual machines, right? Only the one that is going to host Postgres.
Yeah, unless you need a Windows machine, right? Did I share my screen with you?
No. Actually, you have not yet.
I thought I was trying to.
Yeah, but it's doing the Inception thing again.
Yeah.
Now I can see you.
So, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was just going to show you Artifactory.
Okay.
Just for grins, right? I mean, it's so like I'm not logged in. I do have a login to it, but I think we can get around. So this, if I go over to artifacts, a lot of our stuff are up here in these folders, and these are. There's like the analytics appliance jar file that's there, and so it's a binary file. You can download it, and then if you're using different tools, it's like this is how you specify it, like in a Gradle thing. So if you look in our Gradle files, you'll see a lot of these things that kind of say where you pull artifacts from. Like our database compare one, it builds a 2.1 database. Well, it downloads this zip file from Artifactory if it's and caches it, and then it basically uses that to install a brand new 2.1 database, and then applies all the upgrade scripts to it to bring it up to a 2.3 database. But, so
something is wrong with with your screen. I can see anything. Can you share it again, please?
Yeah. Oh, that's bizarre.
Yeah, totally.
So hang on. Share. I'm going to share my entire screen. I'm going to share, and then I'm going to go over here. Do you see the Artifactory page?
But yeah, but I see it. How do you say it? Flipped. Is that the correct word?
I guess. I don't know what you're seeing.
What is supposed to be on the right, I am seeing it on the left, and vice versa.
I can see it if I flip over to our Hangout. It's
okay.
That's yeah, that's not right. Let me try sharing again. So I'll say share. Come on, share. I will share this, share, and then I'll go to Artifactory. Does it look better now?
Yeah, way better.
I had it in another desktop, and I wonder if that was the problem, because then I flipped over to that desktop. So anyway, what I was trying to show you is that down here, it's this artifacts tab. I'm still not logged in. So like here, is the 2.1 folder for our database script. So like what one of those Gradle targets does is it downloads this zip file out of this path, and you'll notice that this is the way it looks inside of a Gradle, where it says, "Hey, I depend on this." When it starts, it pulls that dependency down, and then there's a whole bunch of targets in there, one that unzips this thing and then installs a 2.1 database, applies all the upgrades to it, and then does a dump. And then for doing that DB compare, there's also stuff in here for like for the H2 database stuff. It's stored up here. So,
Robert,
yeah.
I have one question. What you mean by DB compare? I mean, don't get me wrong. I know what is a DB compare, but I think what you mean is to compare if one version of the database is the same with another version of the database and detect the changes, right?
Yeah, I have these.
Okay.
What I'm referring to is these two targets: compare upgraded to new, and compare upgraded to new for the config database. And those two Gradle targets do a whole bunch of stuff. They, like I said, they go up and it installs the old 2.1 database and then takes all of our upgrade scripts and applies those upgrade scripts to that database and then does a dump. And then it a schema dump, and then it installs a brand new database out of the code. Like if you were doing a brand new one, does a schema dump, and then it runs a program that does a diff between those. And so so the idea is, like, if I run this, like if I say compare upgrade to new on the config database, it makes sure that it's got that that config database zip file down, runs that. Actually, it did the new one, did a dump, it kind of went through fast. So this is installing a brand new database, and you can kind of go through what this is doing. It drops anyone that I've got already, creates users. It installs a brand new one, which is all this, grants privileges, and then it does a dump, PG dump, command line task. So in here, there's some command line tab that does that, and then it basically drops the database that it just built, and then creates the old 2.1. I'm thinking somewhere here it unzips it, but or it may already be unzipped. It has to unzip it anyway. It goes through and it does the old 2.1 build, does grants on it, and then it runs our new scripts again, which basically say, hey, does it already exist or not? And then it goes, oh, this is our install database script running here, and what it does is it does the test for a non-empty database, decides, oh, it needs to put these tables in there, and then this is really where it runs all of these upgrade scripts when we talked about the upgrade path, and then it again does a PG dump, and then it does this diff, and it runs this jar file right here with whatever command lines, giving these two dump files, and then basically shows you any output. So if for some reason you modified the schema in the database for the config database in this case, but you didn't provide an upgrade script, then you would see that difference. Like, let's say you forgot an index or you forgot to add a column. It would show you the difference between the path of an old database being upgraded to a brand new database. It would show you the difference. And so it's really just a tool that I built for, and so that's why it's kind of nice to have Postgres running locally.
Okay.
So that you can use this, because and I covered that in one of the videos, but and I think we talked about it before, but like when you go in here and you need to add something, right? And you go into the schema and you're going to add a stored procedure, or you're going to add, hey, I need a new column here, and so I'm going to add, I'm going to add a new column, and you go ahead and add it. this affects a brand new database, but it doesn't affect the upgrade. And so by convention, what we've done is said, oh, when you do that, you need to go in here and you need to provide an upgrade script.
Yeah,
and
I
and
remember.
so like this one says alter table, add column. So obviously we had added a column, and so we go do this. But we also said, hey, drop this function, and these things get pretty long. That's also why we have this templates. It's really this file, this upgrade file, that's important. But we're looking at 209. This is a shorter version, and so there's a target over here, but you have to run it from the command line. It's called process upgrade templates. So you basically go into the terminal and go, .gradle w database scripts :
It flipped. It flipped again.
are you kidding?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Yeah.
the point here is that if something starts with a pound in this upgrade template file, it'll do substitution. It will substitute in that SQL file into this file and generate this one. That's why it says including file, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was just a helper for us. And let me go back and see if I can't unflip the screen. Is it back?
No. Oh, now it is.
Okay. So anyway, I got off topic on how to do upgrades in the database, but and actually, if we go look at the Gradle build for this, and it's not very far down here, I don't think. Here's that process upgrade template target in Gradle, and it basically says do this on the in a command line window. It will prompt for a path, and so then it's like, oh, if I and we can actually do that now if you're interested.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to do this, I would. So .gradle w database upgrade template. It's going to do some stuff. Let's say let's say this is my template file. So basically, it's going to take this whole thing, but every time it comes to a pound sign, it's going to try to take this path and include this file for me. And so there's like here's one where it's putting all these stored procedures in, and then it's doing an alter table. So this is 01. This is what the expanded file looks like, right? It's a lot of stuff in there, and it's harder to follow. That's why we decided to make these template files. So if I right-click on here and say copy path, I go back to my terminal window. It's saying enter the upgrade template file to process. I paste in that path, and then it does this, and you can see that it says, hey, I'm including, I'm working on this file, and now I'm processing these include files. I'm all done. So now this should tell me, yeah, that this one just got rewritten. And, I could have cleared everything out. In fact, maybe anyway, trust me that it included all this stuff, right? And then in the file, it puts these comments that, hey, I'm including that file, I'm including that file. It was just a time saver because it's a whole lot easier to write this file where you just say, hey, include this, include this, include this. And these were all new ones. If they were replacements that I was doing, I'd end up having, all the drop statements and then include, drop, include, drop, include. And so it's really just triggered by this pound at the beginning of the line. And you kind of have to you kind of have to know that to be able to use that, and then that's the target. But it is documented right here. So that's just kind of a trick that for development that we put in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, great,
Okay.
great.
Yeah,
But
and I know I got sidetracked, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that, dude. And then Artifactory is really just like, here's where we have the JRE, the JREs that we download and include. We've got them up here. We've got New Relic agent up here, the Java agent. And so, it's a jar file. So it's a binary repository. Here's the path to get it. And you'll notice in our Gradle builds, maybe I should go show you that. So let's take the admin tool for, no, let's take the appliance. We'll look at so up here, here's the dependencies, right? And so you'll see some of these compile I'm trying to think. So this New Relic, COM New Relic agent Java, New Relic Java 315 jar. So I could have either defined it this way, like we looked at the Oracle one where it has a group, the name, the version. This is a shorthand way where you have these semicolons between and the @ symbol at the jar. But these are all Gradle ways of basically saying I've got a dependency, because they're all under this dependency thing. And what it's doing is it's going to get this dependency and it's going to look around where it needs to find it. We already told it. I already told it somewhere, and it's not here. Yeah. These are done at the very top level Gradle file. This is a sub Gradle file. So it already knows kind of where it's going to look for these things. And it comes out here and it goes, oh, where is this thing? Oh, COM New Relic agent Java, New Relic version, the version, and then it knows that it's looking for a jar file, so it will download that one, just like when we looked at the Oracle JREs, and I think it was 860 that it was pulling down. It pulls down this RPM. So anyway, that's, and if you're going to upload things here into Artifactory, when you log in, there's a deploy tab, and then it asks for this kind of stuff like, hey, what's the compile group, the name, blah blah blah, and that's where we manually stick things up here, like these Pentaho. I'm not sure, is yours doing the BI server? What's it downloading? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, good. Your build is downloading something, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's one of these, isn't it?
It's one of what?
It's one of these Pentaho BI server pieces, isn't it?
I guess so.
Doesn't it have a download thing and it says it's downloading something?
Yeah. Let me share my screen.
Anyway, it comes from here. It's trying to download one of these. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know why it says POM when it should be probably getting the WAR file, but oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, it's downloading Pentaho style, Pentapass plugin, Pentaho mobile plugin, all kinds of plugins.
Is it doing more stuff? Has it moved on?
Nope, nope, not yet. It's still running. Takes its time.
So it's downloading Pentaho style 512.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
5.2 Pentaho. Yeah, Pentaho style. 5.1.2.1
Oh,
port
okay.
war.
Okay. So I mean, and those are not small. So this may take a while. You might want to cancel it and do it in the background when, tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
So don't be stuck there, uh, just because of that.
Okay.
So
I
anyway, um, I guess that's all I've got. I think we've got you pretty far along. I think it's really just VirtualBox and Postgres with the PG tap, and then try to run those the DB unit tests. Make sure that you can build, and then I do have a short video on using Vagrant if you want to remind yourself how to use that, and then you could try running the Vagrant, and then we'd kind of be at a place where if you can do a Vagrant up and it gets all that stuff up for you, and you can Vagrant SSH into it, um, then uh, then we should be able to, you have a build, you'll be in your Vagrant box. We should be able to run through the installs.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Okay. I don't know why my camera's not. Am I still showing my screen? Oh, I am.
Yeah, you are. I'm actually seeing myself flipped out.
So what
Yeah,
happens if I cancel?
I don't know.
Oh, there I am.
Ah, now I
So,
see. Now I see you pretty clear.
okay.
I think we have covered a lot of stuff today.
Yeah.
So no,
You
no,
look tired.
no. I'm not. I'm not. Actually, the more we talk about this, the more I get used to it. The more I think I can do by myself.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think this is great that you got IntelliJ up. The project looks right. It looks like it's going to build fine. Then you'll be able to, follow along and kind of. There's something about having it in your own environment where you can play with it and that sort of stuff. So uh, get the version control set up how you want it, right? So that you can check in, check out, all that sort of stuff. Um, we'll try and get Vagrant up running for you with VirtualBox. We'll try to make sure you have Postgres running locally with those PG tap extensions, and then you should be pretty set. The only other thing and then basically it's using Stash and whatnot to do check in, check out, and code review kind of stuff, and then uh, I guess the next piece after that is kind of the VApp environment, where then you can set up a database. We can get data into it. We could even do a dump of another database, right? If all we're really interested is getting the data in there right now.
yeah. I actually I was going to ask where am I going to get the data from?
I would say, well, there's a couple ways, right? You can just attach to somebody else's VApp. I kind of find it nice to have my own data, and I don't store that locally. I store it on my VApp, and so I pretty much have one VApp that's got my tenant and config databases, and that's pretty much what I use. I use that external IP address and connect to them. Getting the data in there, if we want to do the whole process, and we probably should at some point,
Yeah,
um, is you start an appliance, you point it to one of our source ID data sources or LMS, and you let the job run and you watch the data go in and do its thing. It's
that's
good to do that.
actually what I want to do a long time ago.
Patience. I I want you to do that too.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is like we can go out to go to one of QA's boxes, do a PG dump, bring the data file over, and restore it into your Postgres box, right? There's also that Postgres box that we have in the build environment, that one that I showed you. Did I show that to you?
Nope.
I can't remember because I've done these videos, right? So I've been yammering about this. There is a Postgres box in the build environment that some of our builds actually, like the API service, actually go out and hit. So the build breaks if that's not there. Like if there was a while back, the builds were failing and it was because they moved the IP address or something in that box. One of the things, like if we have standard sets of data, we could put out there on that box too, because it's supposed to always be there for us, that particular box. Whereas the VApp boxes, they can sort of come and go.
Okay.
So there's different ways we can handle this. It kind of depends for me. Am I doing something like, am I working with DAS, or am I working with the BA server where I'm looking at reports, and I don't really care how the data got into the database. I just really need the database, the data warehouse part of it, and that's what I'm working with. So I kind of do things, that way. But then other times I'm working more on the other side of the data warehouse. I'm working on the ETL or the service API, and I'm concerned about getting the data and transferring into the data warehouse and wanting to run it. And so in my mind, I kind of separate those two sometimes. There's sort of the side that uses the data warehouse, and then there's getting the data into the data warehouse. And so it kind of depends on which side I'm working on, how I handle it.
Yeah.
So, but once we get your, the rest of your environment all set up where you can do things sort of locally, we'll move on to getting your vCloud set up. And if you're running it, if you are running out of things to do, which I don't think you're running out of things to do, but you could go ahead, log into the vCloud, create your VApp. We can go on to. Did you already find the ISO in the CM share? Roberto went through that, and so he can show you where the latest release is of that. It's a Windows share where we dump our releases, and so the one thing a person has to do is you have to get that. And so I log into the tools machine in that VApp environment for my VApp with its 5 or 6 machines. I log into the tools machine and I upload that there, and then from there I can push it out to my Linux boxes.
No.
And then when it's on each Linux box, I can go, oh, mount this ISO, run the script. And the install, the only tricky part on the install, they're pretty much fairly easy. But the BA server is a little trickier because you have to have Active Directory set up correctly. Otherwise, it will fail and you'll have to redo it. So, but go ahead and get your machine set up, and then and maybe try to get the ISO up there and pushed out, and then we can walk through an install.
Yeah.
There.
Sounds nice.
So, yeah, I know there's a lot of moving pieces, but it ends up being pretty simple after a while. You kind of go, oh, we need to do an install here, and it ends up being kind of second nature. So it's not as bad as it semes right now.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work to do, but with practice, I'll get used to it.
Now, yeah. Okay, I'll let you go.
No. Okay. So thank you very much. I hope we can do another hangout tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
absolutely.
Have a good afternoon. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.